Well, guys, what's the story?
Rachael.
Rachael!
You don't sound too Aussie at the minute. You're all right, actually.
No, not yet. Although I was thinking last week after we had that discussion about the triathlon and, life down under, what's the worst thing about putting the swim first in a country like Australia? Go.
Sharks in the water, mate. Sharks in the water.
I won't be able to get out of the water. I'm dead. The sharks don't get me. I just drowned. Anyway, that's the worst thing about it for me.
Pretty hard to continue to cycle when the shark eats your torso. That's the problem.
Sharks aren't that vicious, though, are they?
What?
I've never been in Australia. Too long
Fish
to travel.
Friends,
I need
not
6
food.
I need 6 travel bands.
It kind of depends. I think
I'm guessing
there's
I
apparently
sent
not
a different path than you were expecting, Rachael.
Well, there's apparently not that many shark attacks every year, but it's just you hear about them when they happen. Yeah, but that's definitely not what I was thinking when I asked that question.
What were you thinking, Rachael?
As a pasty Irish person down under, I need sun cream. Yes. I will be burned to a crisp. Like my tri-suit has to have the sleeves slightly longer on the legs. Like I need that. Otherwise I'm going to burn. So you can imagine when I have my sun cream applied and then I go swimming.
Yeah, it is something there. Okay, I know when you were saying swimming down under, I'm sorry for ruining it, but yeah, it's something even in the Irish summer though, it's something that has caught me out. I've had raw red legs after the swim, because you put on your sun cream and then you swim it off and then you sweat what's left of it off and you're just left to sizzle. I suppose, I don't know, is there a thicker sun cream especially for it? What can you do? Or
I don't know. I need to try and figure this out. Now I'm quite lucky I'm not burnt. Maybe a bit around my watch. I tend, when I put my sun cream on, I don't put it the whole way down my arm. I leave that space for my watch because otherwise, the watch rubbing on the sun cream is just unpleasant. I ended up getting burnt just there, either side of my watch. But that was about it. It's such a random place. But, just that was kind of going through my mind, like, what can I find a better sun cream? Now, I am impressed with the sun cream I had on. Bit red, but not burnt. Yeah. Stay tuned for that one.
It just shows what scares us the most about swimming. I'm worried about the sharks and the sea monsters, and Rachel's just worried about her tan. Right,
I'm worried about stingrays as well. But anyway.
Oh yeah. So Rachael, what's in store for us this week?
This week we have we're amazing Mary Kate
in a bottle. Oh. Sorry.
Take 2. I know Mary Kate Lynch is coming on this week, and Mary Kate, any of you who are into the GAA, who followed the success of the Meath ladies football team this year, you would have definitely come across Mary Kate's name. And Mary Kate, she plays her club football for Summerhill and Meath, and then had a call up to the senior team, went on to win the All-Ireland. And I won't spoil it any further. I'll let her take it away and tell us more. So, cue the intro.
Let's go. Did you know sharks don't have any bones?
What?
Yeah, it's all cartilage.
I didn't know that.
The intro.
Mary Kate, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Any Given Run Day podcast. Would you please give our listeners a quick introduction, who you are and the sport you play?
Yeah, no bother. My name's Mary Kate Lynch. I'm 20 years of age and I play Gaelic football for the Meath senior ladies team.
So obviously it's been a massive year for you guys, and we'll get into that in a second. But I just want to start with, you're obviously so young and it's incredible to reach the level that you've reached at such a young age. But was Gaelic football always your sport, or were you one of those really active kids who kind of tried everything, or what was your sporting background?
Yeah, it's been a brilliant year, as I said at the start there. But Gaelic football has always been my passion, my love. So I would have played Gaelic since I was about 5 years of age, with starting in the nursery in Summerhill here, and kind of worked my way up. Played with the lads for a little bit as well, underage, so probably up to under 10 level, and then I came into the girls teams because at the time there wasn't a lot of girls playing football. I did athletics and I tried camogie and different things like that. But as I said, I've always been quite active, but Gaelic has always been my first choice of sport anyway, and my passion. So yeah.
It's amazing to find it at such a young age as well. So I suppose that really helps with developing skills. But you mentioned that you played with, obviously, the mixed teams when you were younger. But I think with Gaelic, they split up the boys and girls quite young. Is it like after under 10s, you're no longer, if you're a girl, you're no longer allowed to play with the guys' teams?
Yeah, I think that could have been to do maybe with a physical development, I suppose, in a way that, when you reach the under 10 levels, I suppose we start changing, boys and girls. So yeah, it was probably up to about under 10 that I did kind of go to the girls. Then we start making the teams ourselves. But as I said, the numbers would have been probably smaller then. I played soccer actually as well, and I used to play with all the lads, and there used to be myself and another girl. So it's at the under 10 level. Yeah, I think it is when they start to split.
Which, as you said, it is necessary because that's, when you kind of start changing things like that. But it can be tough then, because especially if you're in an area where there's not that many girls playing, and you obviously had a bit of experience of that where, maybe it was hard to field a team for a few years.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, playing underage with the lads, but then when you move on, you probably had lower numbers kind of coming to training and that. And especially just a couple of years ago now, the difference now is absolutely amazing. I actually train under 12s myself now in the club, and you can see that the difference in the numbers and the excitement to come down and play football. And there's great little footballers down Summerhill now, especially, and I'm sure it's in every club, but you can see the increase in numbers now since I was playing under 10 and under 12.
I do think a lot of that comes down to what you see, and what you see is what you believe you can achieve. And, going back to that 2020 campaign, and if she can see it, she can be it. Because you take when you were younger, did you have much exposure to female GAA players? I know obviously nowadays with social media and just how easy it is to access the internet, it is easier to be exposed to these top sports people. But maybe that has something to do with it. But did you notice when you were younger, you didn't have that kind of same exposure to them that the younger generation has now?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I've always kind of looked up to the older girls, maybe in my own club. One of my idols is Jenny Rispin, who plays down in my club there. So I suppose I would have looked up to her because she would have coached me when I was underage. But yeah, I think now, especially with the year we've had, the amount of girls that are joining sport or looking up to girls like ourselves after the year we've had, and the difference to the exposure now, as I said, with the internet and access to games and stuff, because they're being live streamed on the TV or they're being live streamed on YouTube or Facebook, which is great. Whereas before, you would have to physically go to the game, which people might not have done if it was, somewhere far down the country. But yeah, I think definitely there's more exposure for the younger girls now than maybe when I was younger. But as I said, I did look up to all the older girls in our club when I was playing.
So it's fantastic that you had that, because when we think about it, the Ladies Gaelic Football Championship, or the whole association, really only came about in 1974. So that's really not that long ago compared to the men's championship, which has been established since 1987. So that is a massive difference.
Yeah, definitely. You can see, even especially in recent years, the development that the LGFA have made, and even from our wins and stuff, you can see the difference in kind of the respect that's gained for ladies Gaelic football now. It's a turn for the books in a way, but it definitely in a short space of time, you can see the developments, and it's absolutely amazing that, you know, young girls have people to look up to and have that exposure to football, because it'll keep them playing. Like, I was only having this conversation recently with someone that, you know, at the age I train, so under 12 age, this is where girls kind of maybe start to drop off, you know, that phase of going from primary to secondary school. And some girls that will, you know, give up football, but, you know, when they have people to look up to aspire to, like, it just keeps them in the sport, it keeps them playing and keeps them interested.
Absolutely. And I have a friend in Longwood who brought her little girl when the trophy was there, and her little girl went down to see it. And I was just chatting to her about how inspiring it was for her little girl to see this and to see some of the girls bring the cup down. And it's something that she can really aspire. You know, she's seeing this, she's seeing what these girls have achieved, and she is like, why can't that be her? So I do think it is really important. But just, I mean, it was so massive for me, because not only was it your first time to win the championship, it was actually your first time reaching the final.
Yeah, like in the space of 9 months, we went from playing at the intermediate level, winning the All-Ireland from the intermediate level, and then winning the league Division 2 final, and then getting to the senior championship for our first time, and, you know, winning it as well. It's all a bit surreal still. I still sometimes have to pinch myself to say it's real, and especially for myself, like, I thought my Meath days were over when I hit minor level, and I was fortunate enough to be asked up to play with the senior team. But in that space of time that I've been playing, which is only about 2.5, 3 years, I've achieved so much with this team, and it's just, as I said, it's surreal, and I still don't really believe it.
Yeah, like, I suppose when the rest of us were all in lockdown, kind of chilling out, enjoying yourselves, you weren't just aiming for the final. You went on to win it, like, which was just absolutely incredible. But yeah, you said, obviously, we said how young you are and you're not with the panel that long, but it kind of kicked off with the minor All-Irelands, that semi-final, reaching that. So I suppose talk to us a bit more about how you went from reaching that semi-final to then getting your shot at going to the senior team.
Yeah, like, even before that, like, a lot of girls on the senior team would have played, now not all, but would have played from under 12 right up. And myself, I went for trials year in, year out, under 12, under 14, and, you know, never got picked. But I was fairly determined anyway to keep going back until I kind of prove myself. And I joined when I was under 16 level as a development player first. So I've had a bit of a surreal journey really with the Meath football, because, as I said, development for the first year, got to play a little bit in the second year, and then played 2 years of minor. And in that final minor year, I don't know, maybe it just kind of started to click, and I was just really enjoying the football at the time. So we reached the Leinster A final that year, and we bet Kildare. I know that might be a soft spot for you, but then, as I said, I went on to get to the Ireland semi-final and unfortunately lost. But during that year, like, I was training well. I was just really, really enjoying my year. And my manager at the time just came over to me and said, look, if you keep training and playing the way you're playing, you know, you're going to be called up onto that senior team. Aim Murray, who's our manager, had said it to him. And I was like, he told me this in the middle of a train session, and I was kind of in shock. And as I said earlier, like, I didn't expect to be asked onto that senior team, because it's just absolutely amazing. Like, that the whole team is just, they're brilliant footballers. But then got my shot to come up and kind of start training with the girls in 2019 in the summer there. I just started to get to know the girls, get a feel for the training, and then start properly playing, you know, in 2020.
And, you know, I know everyone is sick of talking about 2020 and then leading 2021 and COVID-19 and the pandemic. So you just hit this senior team to start training with them, and then everything gets shut down. Like, how did you feel that, like, when things were suddenly falling into place, you were just blossoming, coming into your own, and then you're told football's off and we don't know when we're going to get back to normal? Like, what was that like from a personal point of view?
Yeah, like, it was I joined that team in the summer of 2019, and we went back training in that December, like for pre-season, and I was kind of at a minor level. The gym isn't really a focus or anything, it's mainly just your fitness and your football. But I was just after kind of getting trained in on the gym, learning how to use equipment properly and not get hurt. So that was like the first step. And then I was asked to start the very first league game in 2020 against Tyrone at the end of January. And I was playing all those league games up until March. And I was, just kind of coming into it. My confidence was growing. I didn't have a huge amount of confidence, let's say, when I first joined, just, joining a new team with, as I said, amazing players. But yeah, the confidence was just starting to grow as we got told we're going into a lockdown. So look, like we trained hard ourselves over that lockdown period and used as much gym equipment and stuff as we could at home. But when we came back for the championship campaign, I actually got dropped and I wasn't really starting the games anymore. But I think it was hard. It was difficult because I thought, I was kind of starting to prove a point and like that I was starting to play well and gain that confidence, as I said. But yeah, it was quite difficult when we came back then for the 2020 championship and, not to just kind of have lost that starting position. But I changed it around anyway for next year. I was a bit determined, as I said earlier. I'm a very determined person, but yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. But even just for motivation, like how did you keep yourself going? Because, we did see a real exercise spike in lockdown, and we were really, really lucky in that kind of April, May 2020, we had the most fabulous weather. Everyone was doing home workouts. You just had to look online, even though you couldn't physically see anybody. You just had to go online to see people, within their 2K, making use of that, whether it was running or just walking, home workouts, whatever it was. But then once it dragged on, how did you keep that motivation up to keep hitting the gym, to keep in a good physical condition?
So the year 2020 was the year actually I was supposed to do my Leaving Cert as well. So it was a very challenging year, kind of the whole year, because of the uncertainty, because no one really knew what this virus was, and no one knew kind of what to do. So I was studying for my Leaving Cert with no clarity of whether I was going to be sitting them in person, getting predicted grades, and then so my break, and it's still the same with college work now, is sports. So if I get stressed or uptight or I just need to get out of the house, it's always sports. So either go for a run or do a workout and throw on the music, So I think I kind of kept motivated just because it's always my stress release, and I was kind of waiting for the clarity and the Leaving Cert and everything like that. So I think it was kind of easier for me to keep motivated because I knew it was my break from the study or the kind of uncertainty. It was just an escape kind of from everything that was going on. So and as well, like I actually love getting out and doing something. And if I'm not active in a week, my mood would be very, very different. My mom and dad would always say that if, let's say, I was stressed or just wasn't having a great day and I went to training, I come back a totally different person because my mood is just 10 times better and I'm real chatty and everything. So it was just always kind of a stress release or just something I enjoy doing anyway. So I think the motivation side of it was quite easy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. When you had that balance, because obviously when you're sixth year, Leaving Cert is a massive part of your life. There's no escaping the fact that you have to go through it. But in the end, it did end up being a mess for you. But it's interesting to see that the focus was the Leaving Cert, and then the football, the exercise, that was your release, your escape. Because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, especially people who maybe don't, sport, unless you're very, very lucky to make a career out of sport. Most people do it just as a passion or something after work or after school or college. So it's really interesting to hear your take on that. But I do want to go back to what you said about, let's say, before we went into lockdown and that 2019 season, and that's when you had your breakthrough. But you said you were really enjoying football at the time. Do you think there's a correlation there between why you were doing so well and how much you were enjoying it? Or do you think you were enjoying it because you were doing well?
I don't know really. Like, I think it was, as I said, my confidence maybe was just building and building. And like when I was younger, maybe sometimes if I was on the pitch that I'd get the ball, but I wouldn't really bring the ball with me. I kind of get rid of it, give it someone else. As time went on, and I was kind of playing more and like getting the chance to play more and prove to like managers and myself that I'm actually well able to do this. So I don't know. And then I just felt more relaxed when I was playing football and just was really enjoying it at the time. So I don't know. And then as well, just I suppose the year, like the minor year as well, like it was a great campaign for us as well. So, things were kind of just starting to fall into place because I had been in 2 previous Leinster finals and losing to Dublin 2 years in a row. So I think maybe that year as well, the fact that we reached the final and kind of just proved that we were well able to be in this division as well was why I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, and like it probably was a bit of both, just listening to you. Like obviously as the confidence grew, you're going to be more relaxed when you're playing the game, but then when you're more relaxed playing the game and happier playing it, it is going to bring out the best in you.
Yeah, definitely. Like you can see even this year when I was playing that, it wasn't really nerves that I had going into a game. It was excitement really more so than anything. And I think when you were kind of telling yourself that you're more excited than nervous, it makes you more relaxed and, makes you play the best football you can. So you could see that difference even in me this year, that I wasn't going out going, oh my God, I have to do everything right. It's more like, you know what, play the best you can. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake, and that's okay. And it is like football is kind of gone from, just being a physical game to quite a psychological game as well. So, sometimes it is a bit of a confidence boost or something like that just, kind of makes everything click into place for you.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring in that psychological side, because with a lot of people, like they reckon you can have yourself beat before you ever step foot on a pitch or step foot on a start line or whatever it might be, if your head's not in it. So it's really interesting that you're recognizing that side of the game. But like, I also think, oh, sorry, go on.
No, just like I can see it in a lot of girls, no matter if it's county club or college level, that's, put you under pressure and, or maybe you feel so much pressure that you have to perform all the time. But you know what, like sometimes we're just not going to perform, that you can have a bad day. It's like any given day, you can have a bad day or a good day, and if it's okay not to perform. But yeah, I think like sometimes it's very in our heads, and you can be bad off the pitch before you even step out onto it. So it is, you can kind of see the game changing a bit, that we have a psychologist for our Meath team, and she's very, very helpful. Like she's brilliant. And I think like those little things that you can see as a development in the football that really help players. And, if people are struggling a little bit, that support is available to them.
Which is so fantastic to hear. Because like you said, everyone does have a bad day, but I think the issue comes is if you can't accept that you're having a bad day. Like if you accept it and be like, okay, this is perfectly normal, you can get past it. But if you beat yourself up for having a bad day, you're just going to start into this vicious cycle of putting yourself down, and then maybe your performance will suffer as a result.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know myself when I was younger, kind of when I was just starting to play with Meath at the time, that I had joined and then I started playing kind of with the Meath under 16s, and I was still minor, I was still 16, and it just affected my performance rather than, just enjoying it. And you can see that, and people can put themselves under so much pressure, and, it's not good, as you said, because it is going to affect the performance before you even get onto the pitch.
Absolutely. And then like sticking with that whole psychological side of things, like how did it impact you when you put so much effort in over lockdown, stayed fit, and went from having, you know, a really incredible year, getting onto the senior team, to then getting dropped?
That year 2020 was kind of, as I said, coming into not my peak, but as in like just kind of getting to a level that I was getting comfortable playing, you know, with the confidence that was growing. But yeah, I think it was very hard when I came back, you know, that I was dropped. But at the same time, I kept telling myself, like, I'm very young, and I was at the time, I was only 19, was I? Yeah, at the time. So I was just kind of had to tell myself, look, I'm very young to be on this team anyway, that another opportunity will arise. And there's such a fight for places on that team. And, you know, every girl does deserve to start. So you kind of have to look at it from that perspective as well. Like, I put in the amount of effort over lockdown, but so did every girl on our team. So you couldn't really argue with the management and that at the time. I think also from my perspective, like, I probably wasn't, I'm not the strongest girl, let's say. Obviously it's changed now, I've been working on it myself, but at the time I was, as I said, the gym wasn't a focus at the minor level. So maybe a strength and conditioning point of view, I needed to just kind of work on little things like that myself. And unfortunately, in 2020, a girl got injured in the All-Ireland final, and that's when my opportunity came. And, you know, I just worked so hard that, you know, I was determined to build up my strength and to keep my position for the 2021 campaign. And it paid off, thankfully. But, you know, it is, as I said, there's such a fight for places, and you can't take it to heart because everyone on that team deserves to start. And as I said, I was so young, and I see people now even, you know, not getting any game time at all. So I was very lucky at the time.
It is fantastic to have that level of depth, though, in your team, because then it's really motivation to be the best version of yourself. Because if you want that position, you have to perform. And you didn't just go out and perform in that position. You just went and got yourself an all-star for your performance in that position in the 2021 year. So obviously massive congratulations for that. But that must have been the icing on the cake after what was just a phenomenal year.
Oh, stop. I said I didn't expect it at all. Like, I really didn't, because I was saying I was so young and that I was only so new to playing all the matches, you know. And I was sitting in a lecture hall ready to do my lecture, and I had my internet and everything off, and my friend texted me and she was like, oh my God, I'm so delighted for you. I'm so proud of you. And I was kind of going, what in the name of God is this going on about? And this is when the nominations came out for the All Stars, and she said to turn on my WhatsApp, and all the girls knew. And I said, you know, I just went into such shock that I still am in shock. Like, I don't know what to say about it, because I think, like, it probably was my best year of football, but it's definitely not just down to me. It was the coaching I had, the coaching team we have, and there's absolutely brilliant. And I play in a position, I play in full back, like, and it's not the easiest of roles, I'm not going to lie, because there's a lot of decision making. And someone said to me recently, it's not just about physical for you in that position, it's knowing where you have to be at the right time and when to be there. You know, that you have to be thinking, like, very constantly, you know, will I mark my player? Will I go out to the space and stuff? But the coaches I had was absolutely brilliant, and they really, really helped me develop as a player, you know, and I definitely wouldn't have got anywhere without them. So, and obviously the support from home as well. Like, I don't drive yet, but my mom and dad and my brother bring me to every training session. Anything I need to be at, they'll bring me. So it's definitely all them too, and not just me.
So it really is a team effort, like that. That award, I'm sure it means so much to them, just as it means to you. But we've talked about that on previous episodes of the podcast, the whole it taking a community, and it is so important who you surround yourself with. And you clearly have an incredible support network from family, coaches, but then being a team sport. I think a lot of the people we've had on have been individual sports, you know, running, cycling, things like that. But I think a team sport brings a whole different dynamic to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think with individual sports, obviously you have your coaches and stuff, but I think the encouragement even from the girls, from my perspective, you know, them older girls that are on the team really drove me on to be the best you can be, or a team even at, as I said, at home, family, you know, supporting me the whole way, or even my club have been absolutely amazing. Everyone here in the community, you know, them little things are what drive you on. And, you know, as I said about the little girls that I train, like them asking questions and saying they're coming to the match and the excitement, you know, different things like that. But it is really a community and a team effort. And I think that's what I love about the sport too, because maybe if I was in an individual sport, I'd find it hard to motivate myself. But when you have everyone around you, you know, pushing you on, driving you on, it's just brilliant. And it makes it much easier as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, I was in Enfield there. I think the cup might have been going through a few weeks back, and just the people just on the street, just the beeping of the cars, you just really got that sense of community from it. And it was just so amazing to experience. Like, it was just a drive by, just happened to be in the right place at the right time to see it. But you could just see the excitement, and, you know, I just absolutely loved the atmosphere. I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah, like definitely, even people that maybe wouldn't have watched a lot of like women's Gaelic football, or, you know, didn't really have that much interest in the sport. But I think the fact that it was such a historic event, it brought everyone together, and people were just so interested, and, you know, everyone was behind us that day, or well, for the year even, you know, that we were making this journey, we were making all these achievements, you know. And as I said, people have around the county that for us, that, you know, anywhere you go, it's like, we're on the Meath team, we're on that Meath team, or whatever, you know. It's amazing. And as I said, the atmosphere of when you have the cup, or, you know, whatever it is, it's brilliant. And you can see how much people we're getting behind us.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And, you know, I have heard stories. I'm sure a lot of people around the country have heard stories of like ladies teams maybe being kicked off pitches, you know, if, say, the minor or the junior boys, or if underage boys teams want to play. And I really think in Meath, that is definitely going to change. There's going to be no more kicking the ladies team off. You're the ones bringing home the silverware.
Yeah, definitely. Like, even recently, the club championship finals were on, and the lads usually play in Parthalton there in Navan, and for the first time this year they put a double header with the senior ladies and the senior men's championship finals. So that's even like a step in the right direction. And you can see, as I said earlier, the respect we're kind of after gaining after the All Ireland, and even the girls, all of us getting nominated for the All Stars and stuff like that. But it's the respect is just, it's amazing now. You can see the change. And yeah, like, I've went through it myself of, you know, we weren't allowed to use a certain pitch because the senior lads were coming to train, or, you know, yeah, as I said, junior lads, whoever it is, you were getting kicked off. But hopefully that will change now a little bit, and as I said, the respect will kind of keep growing.
Exactly. And it's definitely a step in the right direction. But then just ladies football in general, you know, having great sponsors like Lidl, who are a massive sponsor for the LGFC now, you know, they're really doing their bit to promote ladies football, because it has got exciting. Like, you don't watch ladies football just because, oh, I just better support it. Like, you don't do it for that reason. You do it because it is actually thrilling to watch. And like, you can't deny the skill level that you and the girls in your team, but also all the teams around the country have. Like, it really has upped its game, and it's exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Like, this year especially, like, I've had so many people come up to me, and especially after the All Ireland final, they said it's the best game they've seen in a long time. The All Ireland final was, you know, and they might have been people that wouldn't have really watched it much before. But as I said, like, the skill and the fitness is, you know, developing so much, and it is thrilling. Like, and even playing it, I know, like, even playing that All Ireland, like, it's such a fast paced game. It was, you know, it was entertaining as well, and people really, really enjoyed it that day. Like even people from my club were all there supporting me that day, and a lot of young lads from our club were there, and they said it was the best game they've watched in a very long time. So you can see, the support is developing, and that people are watching it, not just for, as you said, just for the sake of watching it, but because they're really enjoying it.
Absolutely. And I suppose females just traditionally aren't as physical as our male counterparts. That's we can't help that. But that doesn't mean the game has to lack. Like there's, we've said that skill element, but there is still physicality. So just because, females aren't as strong maybe, or we can't lift as much as males, that doesn't mean we can't get into it. And, you guys demonstrated that you can have a really physical, a really entertaining game of football.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's, the strength thing is that like lads are just more physical anyway, but there is such a physical aspect to it too. And I think that's kind of what was a shock to my system when I joined that senior team, coming from a minor level, only being 17 at the time, that there was a little bit of a focus on the gym, to build up that strength, but it is needed too, because it is a physical game as well as about your fitness or about your skills. So yeah, no, definitely you can see it as well.
And just thinking back to that 2021 season, like obviously, winning the final and getting your All-Star, like I'm sure it's going to be hard to top it. But were there any other standout moments throughout the entire season where you just think back and go, yeah, that was my favorite moment, or that's a moment that's going to stick with me forever, aside from, as I said, winning the final and getting your All-Star?
Yeah, it's kind of like nearly the whole year is nearly like not a blur, but as I said, I'm still kind of in shock about absolutely everything. But I think another standing moment for me, like, and I know it's kind of a win on the winning path as well, but we won the Division 2 final, but we were playing Kerry in that Division 2 final, and the first round we played them, we lost to them by 6 points, or I think it was 2 goals at the time. But that was the very first round, and that actually was when we had no supporters for the games because of COVID. And I think when we met them again in the final and had those supporters back, you miss them so much. You miss that shouting and roaring and that cheering, and that drives you on. And I think the way we played that day, the way we came together as a team and proved that, yeah, we might have got bet the first time, but look, we're back here again, and we were determined to prove a point. But I think like when the supporters came back, I think that was a bit of a standout moment too, because you didn't really know how much you missed them until they were gone. Because the Kerry team that day in the first round had people standing on the top of a caravan, and they were like shouting over the wall, and we had no one kind of to retaliate to them, and no one kind of, obviously our teammates and our coaches, but not that same noise coming from your friends, families and your parents. And I think definitely like getting the crowds back as well was a very standout moment, which is a bit mad considering usually there'll be crowds in a match, but just with the year that was in it.
Yeah, something you wouldn't think about in other years, but that's something that even the professionals in all sports have been saying. Like most recently with the rugby, with the autumn series on, that's one thing that has come up a lot, is having the crowds back and how amazing it is to play to a packed stadium again.
Yeah, definitely. Like when we went out running out for the All-Ireland finals and have 40,000 people around you, like the noise was incredible. Like at one point I was running up the sideline in Croke Park, and when I released the ball out of my hands or kicked the ball, whatever it was, the ringing in my ears from the cheering and the shouting and the support, you could hear everyone, was just brilliant. And I think that really drove us on as well as a team in the final, because on our way up on the bus, we got a guard escort, which was amazing in itself. But we kind of just split all the traffic for us, and we were kind of going through all the traffic. But on the motorway, all the cars were beeping because they knew it was us coming, and it was all our friends, families supporters hanging out the windows, waving flags, beeping at us go by. And I think like when we saw that before we even reached the pitch, we said like, we have to do it for them now. You know, look at the amount of support that's, you know, coming up here to see us play and hopefully win like in our first year in an All-Ireland final. And I think that totally just drove us on, and it was quite like emotional nearly on the way up to see how much support we did have and we're going to have up there. And when we ran out, you could see nothing but really green. Like obviously there was Dublin people there too, but there was definitely, you could just from the shouting, the roaring, the green and the crowd, it was amazing.
And that is one thing that Gaelic is great for, is that, you know, involving the whole community. You're not going out there just for your county team. You're going out there for the whole county, for all the individual clubs and all the members of those clubs, and even the non-members. You really are doing it for everyone, not just yourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you want to make people proud as well. Like, you know, your friends, your family, and as I said, the people that are supporting you. But yeah, you're doing it for absolutely everyone. And look, like you're saying about the clubs and non-club people, but like, and not every club is represented on a county team either. But you know, I'd be quite close to a couple of clubs that wouldn't have a player on the team, but I visited them myself, you know, and you can just see the excitement and the support that you have for them as well. So, or they have for you. So it's just brilliant like that.
It really is. So tell me, what is next for you then? You are in college. It's Meath University you're in?
Yeah, it is.
And any aspirations to play for the university team?
Yeah, so I kind of had a busy year between the All-Ireland, from the All-Ireland on. So when we finished the All-Ireland, we had a week or two kind of not, well, off, but when I say off, I mean celebrating. So it wasn't really a break, but I kind of went straight into the club championships and playing for the college. And it's my second year in college, but it's my first year in there properly because of COVID. So it's really nice to be playing with girls that I've played against kind of during the year, or, you know, great footballers as well. And playing with a different style of football. But I'm taking a little bit of a rest this week because I've been sick quite a lot. But that's, I think I had COVID actually just before the All-Ireland final, and I only got out 2 days before the All-Ireland, which a lot of people don't actually know because we tried to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, obviously.
But I'm kind of suffering. Yeah, I'm kind of suffering a little bit kind of now. I think my immune system's a bit low, so I'm just kind of taking a rest for the time being. But we're back training with Meath as well, so you know it's kind of all flowing back into one. So I'll have plenty to keep me busy anyway between college and county and club football. But we'll just, you know, get back out for a new season and see what happens.
Absolutely. And we are definitely going to be keeping our eye on you and the Meath ladies in the future, because it just sounds like there is so much still to come. And, you know, I really hope that you mind yourself. That is first and foremost. It's probably nice that Christmas is coming up. You can take a bit of a break from everything, and you know, all the best for 2022. It just sounds so exciting, and I just can't wait to see what happens for you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me on. It's brilliant to talk to you.
No, it has been our pleasure. So anything else you want to say to finish off to the young girls or even the young guys out there who are thinking, will I join football? Will I not? What would you say to them just to finish up?
Yeah, like I think to any young person, no matter if it's Gaelic football or whatever sport you want to play, I think just give it a go and see where it takes you. You know, don't put yourself under any pressure, and you know, you have to enjoy the sport and you have to have fun. And if you're not enjoying it, then maybe that's not the sport for you. But I think give everything a go, and you know, just enjoy everything you're doing. So yeah, definitely.
Well, Mary Kate, you have been absolutely amazing to chat to. We wish you all the best for next year and all the years beyond that. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.